Good evening, everybody. It's 10:30, and this is Nightcap. Nightcap number 14. Who would have known that it would have been 14 times we've done this? And I guess no end in sight. If I'm doing it tonight, a week after, you know what? uh, I guess we're doing good. I wanted to start out by telling you something, a phrase you may have heard. There was an English poet, writer named John Donne. Donne, and of course John Donne said, famously, no man is an island. And quite frankly, I think I've proved that this week. I spent probably 3 weeks leading up to last Monday fretting, trying to deny its existence, the upcoming pacemaker. I thought, I don't need a pacemaker. I said, I'm as active as I've ever been. I still feel 45, if that, not 75. But my doctor, another doctor, and another doctor all said, John, you need a pacemaker. So I always had a slow heartbeat, like in the 40s, sometimes down in the 30s. And they always said, well, it's an athlete's heart. It's been an athlete. I've not been an athlete for a long time, but that's still the heart that I have, the heart God gave me. So it's kind of one of those things that, well, I just thought that I didn't need it. But I did. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim. I feel good. I really do. And we'll be discussing very shortly what you and I know, what we've been talking about. But the pacemaker thing first, I went into Prairie Heart last Monday morning, still denying that I needed it, but just, accepting the fact that if I didn't need it because I felt good, I needed it because my heart didn't need to go any slower as I got older. And the doctor's main thing that they told me, and this is true for anybody, I guess, who's ever had a pacemaker, at least for the reasons that I have one. The fact is that if I didn't get it done, there was a real possibility that my heart would stop pumping enough blood to get to my brain, and then that would bring about a stroke. And gosh, I don't want that. I want to go out kicking and screaming. I want to be 85 and they find me on the golf course and they're dragging me around to finish the round. But I joke about that, but I do feel like I'm going to last a while. I have too much joy in my life to go away right now. But when the time comes, I will. So here's the deal. I went in and I had the pacemaker. And of course, the doctor says, here are things that are going to change in your life. And by the way, since I did this, and I made that comment about no man is an island, since I've had my pacemaker and have rambled about it so much, I've had so many people say, I just had one, or I've had one for 12 years, I'm on my third one. So that made me feel a lot better. I talked to a friend of mine, who owns a winery, and he said, I just had mine 3 weeks ago. I'm getting along, not doing too bad. I'm sore, but it's going away. And I thought, okay, I've only had mine for a week, and I'm still pretty sore, but not as sore as I was the first day. And then I have a friend in Australia. We share the same name, only he's 91 years old, and everybody calls him Gramps. I long for that someday, I think. But anyway, Gramps, Marty, told me, he said, John, I just had mine 3.5 weeks ago. And I'm still playing the piano and I'm working on Sweet Home Chicago right now. And he's 91 years old. So if Gramps down in Australia can do that, and if my friend who has the winery is still making wine after that, I can certainly still be on the radio and have a good time and play a little golf, except not for 3 months. Yep, the restrictions were kind of severe for the first week. Arm in a sling. Keep that elbow close to your body. Don't raise your left hand because the pacemaker is right here. Don't raise your left arm above your shoulder. Don't even try. Don't want to pull wires, because what there is a nice little thing. If you've never checked it out or never known anybody who had one, it's a thing about the size of, I don't know, an FBI badge, maybe, and about as thick. And it's got a couple of wires that run from here down to the bottom of my heart, bypassing, they say, a weak spot, which maybe causes my heart not to pump the blood as fast as it should. So that's taken care of. It's healing. They say it takes about 3 months for the scar tissue to go over the leads, the end of the wire, and so you won't have any problem pulling it out. And it looks like everything's going to be okay. I feel good. I really do, but I didn't feel bad beforehand. But to all the literally hundreds of people who responded to my updates as we went along, I thank you very much. And being back on the radio today was great. I didn't mean to take a whole week off. My initial intention was Monday and Tuesday. And I told Brian Tuesday, maybe I even told him Monday afternoon late when I came home. I said, you know, maybe I'd better take Wednesday too. And he said, okay. And then all of a sudden, you know, he sent me a text later and said, why don't you just take the whole week off, get well, and we'll see you Monday. So that's a pretty good boss, I think. So Brian Talley, I appreciate you. I did have the week off, and, you know, I was healing, but also I was probably never so bored as I was for that week. Now, isn't that terrible to say? But I was maybe bored because all I could do was sit, watch TV, eat, although not too much, because I was working pretty good on this diet. And by Friday, I was ready to do something, really. Saturday, we did karaoke, and I couldn't have done that without the help of our good friends Jim Young and Chris File, two other karaoke guys who came in, set up my equipment for me. I took the sling off so I could type because there was just no way to hunt and peck, especially in a darker environment. So it worked out okay. And Saturday, of course, went to Mass, and Sunday relaxed, saw some great basketball games, seeing Illinois win. How about that? That was absolutely wonderful to see the Illini and not lose, not blow a lead, and in fact, pretty much dominate two very good basketball teams, especially the Iowa game. And my gosh, now it's going to be UConn on Saturday. And how UConn beat Duke at the end with that shot by Braden Mullins when it was definitely Duke's ball game. And here UConn stole the ball, 2.4 seconds left, and about a 29-foot three-pointer to win for UConn. So many guys involved in the Final Four, in the Elite Eight. Hi, all of you. So it's going to be interesting. Randy, Barb, Herb, Denise, my goodness, Jim, the ghost of John. He's probably looking down because he knows I'm going to talk about this in a minute. It was a good week, a good weekend, and then Monday started out the way it did. Okay. Now you've heard my boring life, but again, thank you for all for being such a part of what I do on the radio every day. What I really want to talk about tonight is a book. I want to talk about a book that's been written by our good friend Jim Marcacci and John Euban, and the book is, I know it's backwards, Beneld and the Booze Gang. The interesting, and thank you, Dale Bishop, for bringing me in a copy so I could talk about this. Yes, Dale, I do have a good book to read, and I like it, of course. And what we want to talk about tonight is, A, the work that goes into this and the people involved, and what a labor of love, but an intensive labor it was. And also, Jim's not going to mention it, but I will, something that frustrates me, and I had no idea this would happen. The book, Beneld and the Booze Gang, which is all about the wickedest city in America, is called by the, I think it was a crime commission back in the 30s that called Beneld the wickedest city in America because of its location just off of Route 66 at that time. It was a perfect location between St. Louis and Chicago for gangsters to hang out and bootleggers to flourish as, of course, Prohibition came in. It's all about that. It's all about the mines, which they weren't all mines, as you well know. And it was about just the life, the people, the murders, the mayhem, and it truly was that. The people involved, and also just one story after another. The book is a marvelous read. From literally about 10 pages in, once you get past the intro, which every book has an intro, to the end, it is just fabulous. Beneld and the Booze Gang, you can get it on Amazon. But now here's where the caveat comes in. When you type in Beneld and the Booze Gang on your Amazon search bar under books, you find that there are about 14 different Beneld and the Booze Gang books up there. Now, there was only one as of last week, but because of its incredible success, it seems there's this ability to change the cover, copy some pages, and put your name down as the author, and you can sell the book as yours. That's not right. That's not good. Can you imagine what would it be like if, well, let's just say, for example, Jeff Bezos, who is the owner and ruler of Amazon, let's say that I decided to make a website called Amazon, and I just copied all the links and I tried to say, hey, I'm the place. I'm an Amazon, or I'm not Amazon, but I got the same stuff. Well, that's kind of what happened here. Jeff Bezos wouldn't like it, and I don't think that John Euban would probably come grab that shotgun they used as a prop or that Tommy gun and maybe go after somebody. Probably not. But the thing of it is, if you look, the Beneld and the Booze Gang book is on top. And it says Jim Marcacci, John Euban and Jim Marcacci. That's the book. And anything else is a poor, poor, poor substitute and just an out-and-out theft. So make sure you order the right one. Make sure that Jim and John, that they get the absolute benefit for the hard work. And it was years of hard work. If you think back, 2 years ago, John and Jim came on the show, and we talked about it. Now, by this particular point, Jim and John had been working on a documentary about the Coliseum in Beneld, and it was terrific. What they had gotten done was wonderful, but it wasn't finished yet. They still needed to raise some more money to add more to it, get it totally edited the way they wanted, get some permissions for some pictures that they hadn't got in yet, and just finish it. Make it absolutely the definitive story of the Beneld Coliseum. Now, this book, of course, also goes on not only to talk about just the crime and the bootlegging that goes on. When we call this book Mafia, Murder, and Mayhem on Route 66, that is when we have the story of Dominic Terrell, the guy who ran a grocery store but bought sugar by the carload. And my goodness, what little grocery store buys bags of sugar by the carload? But they did, because Beneld, and particularly one particular location in that area, was doing literally thousands of gallons of liquor, bootleg liquor, a day. Now, if that's not a reason to read this book and find everything out, I can't think of what a better reason would be. But the book is terrific, and now the good thing is, in addition to our interview we did 2 years ago with John and Jim. John, unfortunately, has passed on before he got to see the finished product and got to be involved in the final editing. But Jim promised his friend that he would finish it, and he did. And now, of course, he'll be coming on the radio with us Friday, and we'll be talking about it more. And he will not stumble over some of the facts like I do, because I'm still getting involved into it. He lived it for the last several years. So that's it. Benelda and the Booze Gang. You should get it. It should be a wonderful, wonderful read for anybody. And thank you so much, Jim and John, for the hard work that you put in on this. You can get it. I think it's $18, $17.99 on Amazon. Get that one. Don't get the one that says Kindle version $6.99 that might be, I don't know, 80 or 90 pages totally copied and pasted up and called something else. They've really done some amazing things with the title and the cover. It's funny to look at it if you know the truth, and then you just shake your head and say, these bozos should not have done this. Number one, it's on top when you see Benelda and the Booze Gang. So that's that. What else is out there that's worth talking about? I was visiting with Katie Wilson today, and I think coming up in the next week, maybe 10 days from now, next week, we're going to have a visit with the CEO of WorkSaver. I don't think, barring no problems with getting him on, he is an amazing fellow. The whole operation is amazing. WorkSaver makes over 300 products to save work. And that's exactly what the name means. It is WorkSaver. And what I was amazed to find out is not only do they make generic pull-behind implements or buckets to go in front of tractors, things to help life around the farm being easier, but they also make products in the right colors licensed to Bobcat and to John Deere. So they do a lot of things that most people have no idea about, and they do it right here in Litchfield, Illinois. What else is going on in Litchfield? If you head out of Litchfield, heading to Hillsboro, or you're coming into Litchfield from Hillsboro, on the east side of the water treatment plant on Route 16, on the east end of Litchfield, you'll see an awful lot of activity going on into what was once some very nice farm bottomland. And that is going to be the solar panel field. No windmills going to go there, no wind turbines. But that's the other issue. And when is that going to be resolved? The Shoals project, which is a bunch of people who are trying to put up a large wind turbine farm, and it's going to take miles of property. It's going to go for a long ways. If you've ever driven north of Bloomington on I-55, or you've gone to Peoria and headed up 155 just off of Lincoln, you will find hundreds of wind turbines. And that's what they're trying to do down here. Now, I don't have a dog in the fight, but I know a lot of people who do. And some people, they're throwing some fabulous money at different farmers. It's hard to say no, but it's not necessarily going to be the best thing. But that's not me saying yay or nay. You have to make up your mind on that. But be aware of it and decide what you want, what you think as you go. Illini coming up. They'll play Saturday against UConn. It's 5:09. You can hear it on the Ox 105.3. You can also watch it. I suppose it's going to be on True TV, maybe on CBS. I'm not sure. But I will tell you this, it should be a good game. The Illini lost to UConn at Madison Square Garden early on in the season, and frankly, UConn beat them pretty bad. But the team that UConn beat then is not the team that is playing now. The Illini are very good. They are still the highest offense in the country. They are the tallest team in the country. They have an incredibly good defense. And if their threes are falling and they're making free throws, they will give UConn every single thing that they've got. So there's that. So if you're an Illini fan, worry not. Be anxious, of course. We'll see what happens. But I think the Illini have as good a shot as the UConn has. Hi, Betty. Nice to see you in here this evening. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for your thoughts and prayers, too. So that is coming up on Saturday at the end of what Christians around the world, what us Catholics call Holy Week, what most Christians think about as a very, very, very special week leading up to the resurrection. Certainly Easter is more than the Easter Bunny. Having said that, I hope you're going to have fun with your family, and if you have an Easter egg hunt in the plans, that's great. The weather should be good on Sunday. It's going to be a little rough after tomorrow. By tomorrow night, we'll be getting some rain. It looks like thunderstorms Wednesday and Thursday. Friday and Saturday look like rain, about a 70-80% chance. But we're going to get some real thunderstorms. You know, it's spring. It's time for them. And we can use the moisture. Sunday, Easter Sunday, it's going to be nice. A little cool, but it'll be sunny. I have karaoke Saturday night. If you want to come by the Eagles, you can, which will make for an early morning Sunday for me, but that's okay. What else? Covered what I wanted. Talked pacemaker and talked about the book. Again, I can't recommend it more highly. Beneld and the Booze Gang. Jim will be in on Friday at 3 o'clock, about 3:10. We'll get going with him. He'll be there the whole hour, and make sure you tune in, okay? And pretty much that's it for me tonight. I hope you had. I hope I told you a few things you didn't know. Maybe. Oh, there is one thing. I got an email from Tom Emery this week. Tom, of course, the tremendous historian in Carlinville. I found out that, in the news now, President Trump's going to be having his signature on all the U.S. currency, the paper money. It'll mark the first time that a sitting U.S. president has had his name on the nation's currency. So we're remodeling, we're rebuilding, we're turning everything into gold in the White House. We're turning a bedroom we're going to make a bedroom, I guess, up there, one more. And now, in addition to the gold coin that the banks are going to have to deal with, we're also going to have his signature on all of our currency, the new bills anyway. But back in 1927, there was a guy from Carlinville, getting back to why I mentioned Tom Emery. There was a guy who was born in Carlinville, and his name was Walter Orr Woods. And Walter was the Treasurer of the United States from 1929 to 1933. He spent his career in government service, including a long stint in the U.S. War Department, which later became the Department of Defense and has now been turned back into the Department of War. But he was born in Carlinville in 1875. He moved to Kansas as a small child, got his law degree, and then chose a career in government service. And he passed away in 1951, and he's buried in Carlinville City Cemetery under an unassuming headstone. So, when I always talk about wanting to go visit the cemetery, St. Louis City Cemetery and Bellefontaine Neighbors, and go see William S. Burroughs' grave and a number of other luminaries in St. Louis, we have them buried all around here. Now, if you think about it, here we have a guy who was born in Carlinville, who was Secretary of Commerce and worked for the Department of War. In Butler, we had a former resident of Butler who was the Postmaster General for a number of years, long time ago. He was born in Butler. Of course, we had a decathlon winner, Harold Osborne, from Butler. And of course, just so many very interesting people who have been born in our area and have gone on to have incredible careers and become relatively famous, and in some cases very famous. Look them up. It'd be so much fun. Maybe it's better than just scrolling through TikTok to do a little history. Again, as I started out saying, John Donne pointed out that no man is an island. If you're scrolling on TikTok all day long, or if you spend all day long ranting and raving on X or Instagram, you're being an island. Be sociable, okay? Visit with your neighbor. Weather's going to be good soon. Take a walk. Do things that make you feel better and put joy in your life, okay? Have a great night, everybody. Number 14, Nightcap, has come to a close. We'll do it again next Monday night. And hopefully we'll have a couple more pretty good subjects to talk about. Thank you and have a great night.